What's up guys, it's Steve, welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to take a look at exposure triangle. Mainly for beginners like myself, it can be tricky to know what to do. I know a lot of people are probably recording or taking photos using that nice green auto button, so everything's done by the camera. The camera that I use, the A6400, I've slowly but surely for photography been moving over to shooting everything manual. So with the exposure triangle, we take a look at shutter speed, aperture and ISO. Those 3 points make up what's known as the exposure triangle. So the shutter speed is basically something that's measured in seconds, and that's the length of time that light is allowed to hit the sensor. So in low light situations, you will have a slower shutter speed because you want more light hitting the center. So, and then obviously outdoors, street photography, etc., you may boost that shutter speed up to 1/1000 because you don't need as much light coming in because you've got bright daylight. Then aperture is basically the hole, let's call it the hole that's in the lens. So each lens will have what's known as an F number or an F stop, which denotes how much light the lens will let in. Weirdly, the lower the number, the more light it will let in. So currently I'm filming on a Sony A6400 with a Sigma 60mm f 1.4 lens. So this lens lets a lot of light in. A lot of people like the lower f stops. It's better in low light because more light will be hitting the sensor, and also you get that nice blurry bokeh background that everyone likes. And then lastly, to complete the triangle, we have ISO. Now ISO is the sensitivity of your camera's sensor. So the lower the ISO, the more information the sensor is gathering. Now the higher the ISO, let's say 6400, the less information your camera is generating, but you're most likely going to find that image is grainy, or what they call noisy, or you could say it was distorted or pixelated. So generally speaking, you want as lower ISO as you can get. Now in photo, really what you want to probably do is get yourself into manual mode, set your ISO at 100, then move on to your shutter speed, then move on to your aperture. So if you've got a lower light, let's set 100. If you want a nice blurry background or it's getting a little bit dark, set your aperture as low as you can get on your particular lens, and then adjust your shutter speed to complete your triangle. Now for today I won't go into video because you could, for video, make it into an exposure square, I guess, by adding neutral density or ND filters, which is something you ideally want because depending on what frames per second you're shooting, so I mainly shoot in 24 frames per second, you really want to double your shutter speed, so 1/50th of a second is what I'm shooting on currently while I'm doing this video. So depending on your lighting situation, you may need to basically put some sunglasses onto your lens to help out for that. But I hope you found that useful, just a quick video explaining exposure. And I urge you, if you're currently shooting in an automatic mode or you're in aperture priority or shutter speed priority, any of those, just switch it over to full manual and just have a play. I know, for example, on my Sony A6400, I've owned it for about a year, 14 months, something like that. And I'm only just getting to grips with everything from picture profiles to shutter speeds, continuous shooting, all the different settings. The menus are vast. I mean, there's lots of videos out there. If you'd like me to do a video on the settings that I use for photo and video, let me know in the comments. I'll happily do one of those. As ever, please like if you found this video useful or interesting. I can do plenty more bits and pieces like this. Subscribe to the channel, that'd be really cool. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.